Hey everyone, this is Julian from the Binary Lab. Today making a video about something that many of you may forget, alright? Um, but it's good to remember whether you're trading well or trading badly. This is how, let me explain to you the process of winning or losing in the markets. And there's one element that basically binds it all together, okay? So when you win, there's a combination of three factors. One, there's you. Ultimately, it starts with you, right? Because you're the one that applies this. You're the one that you're the one that goes to the market. You're the one that applies the method. You're the one that clicks the trigger, take the trade, okay? The second thing is the method, of course. The third thing is the market. The market works together with the method and you to have this whole thing work together. So on a day when all these three factors are working together, you're gonna get some really good trades. Okay? And some of you may start to think, or should I say many of you may start to think that, oh, I'm a genius, I'm a top of the world, okay? I'm a trading guru, I'm a trading god, whatever it is, okay? While you are entitled to feel that way, it's not wrong to feel that way, but it's important to remember that it's not just about you. Everything works together in the same way. Okay? In a moment, I'm going to tell you why it's so important to recognize why there are three factors and not just two. Okay? Not just you and a method. Okay? Market as well. Because ultimately, the market is the one that decides whether you should win that day or not. The market is the one that decides if you're going to look like a genius or an idiot. Very, very important thing to know. Now, on a day that you're having a set of bad trades, you're on a losing streak, or maybe a little bit better than that would be you won some, lost some. You kind of like break even and struggling to actually move forward. Okay, on such a day, you probably feel lousy, drained, undermotivated. You feel like you feel like you wasted time. You feel that you question yourself because before that you're having good trading days and suddenly you're not. So what's happened here instead is that the market didn't work with the method and you, and as a result, things didn't turn out the way you expect. And when it didn't turn out the way you expect, if you previously took credit for your wins, okay, if you see it exactly the way it is, as I'm describing it to you, 1, 2, and 3, making it, understanding that it's part you, part method, part market, and this way, there's an equal contribution. And it's important to know and recognize when the contribution is not equal. Like when the market is not contributing to your success in trading, then you don't want to be taking the blame for the market when it's the blame of the market. It's not about the way you trade. It's not about you. It's the market. Okay? The reason why I'm making this video today is because a lot of people overbash themselves when they're having a bad run. And not too long ago, I did a webinar. Okay, let's just talk about last week's webinar and this week's webinar, Binary Lab Elite. I went out there fully confident that there were like 4 setups. Okay, there were 4 setups that I picked that I was fully confident about. It looked like it was just gonna work, like exactly. But in reality, I was proven wrong time and again. And when that happened in live webinar, several students said, "That's exactly what I saw. That's exactly what I experienced. How do you get around that?" Well, the only way to get around that is to recognize that it's not you, it's not the method. It's just that the market at this time is not deciding to work together. It's not working together in the same way. And therefore, if you're feeling like an idiot, it's not you, The market is the one that decides whether it's going to make you look like a genius or an idiot on that day. But it's important to know that when that happens, it's the market and it's not you. And it's very, very important that you understand this, because a lot of traders struggle with morale issues on a very regular basis. When you're doing well and you feel great and everything, or when you're not doing so well, you bash yourself up, you feel you lost confidence, you feel that you need to reinvent everything. But it's not necessarily the case. How about taking a break? Okay? Conditions that come onto the market because of the start or end of the summer holiday, or a series of elections, or let's say, like, you could think things in the past that have affected really much would be, let's say if a country decides to go from interest to interest free, that's going to shake up the market. Okay, if a country deciding on a change of president, that's going to change the market. If a country is leaving the Eurozone, it's going to affect the Eurozone that remains and that country as well. If a country is at war with another country, or there's a lot of speculation, that's going to affect as well. If the country is going on holiday, that's going to affect. All right. So a lot of things can affect, and some of the things that affect, you need to. It's just the same as like health and your own wellness. When there's something going on with your body, well, you could either take a symptomatic relief, but the most important thing, and the thing that you should be doing, is to recognize the root of the problem. Symptomatic relief in trading would be you could, just take a step back and basically take a break, try again the next round. But to look at the root of the problem, all right, what I did in the most recent webinar is that, okay, yes, there was a trade that didn't work out. There was also a trade that worked out well. The one that worked out well worked out very well, okay? But when we look out from an overview, it's actually easy to spot why it happens. Like, for example, with the Euro USD yesterday, we stepped out, zoomed out a couple of times, and we noticed that throughout the Asian, London, and as well as the US session, this was a recurring pattern of like nice zigzags, and at the same time long consolidations followed by awesome breakouts, and the pattern kept repeating itself throughout the day. From the Asian session, what's interesting is that the Asian was very quiet until toward the end of Asian. Actually, the Asian session only gained strength, and Australia was dead. Australian session was dead. Japanese session, started some volatility, but it didn't really catch on until, interestingly enough, lunchtime. And the movement from lunchtime carried on, through the first bit of London, and then it kind of tapered off again, and then went into New York with bits of big movements and then consolidation. So what's more important is that when you take a zoom out, you decide for yourself when, like, it's also very common that depending on the broker that you use, the movements in the market can be bigger than they can seem bigger than it actually is. So remember to measure the distances, understand what kind of range you're playing with. Look at the things like ATR, average true range, is going to give you an idea. Look at the ADX, that's going to give you an idea of how strong is the movement. Look at volumes. Okay, these are different ways of gauging the market. And when you recognize the different patterns during the day, you can say, okay, this is obviously a no trade zone. I shouldn't be taking trades here. But when it comes out of this zone, maybe I want to be doing a breakout. And then after the breakouts happen, when breakouts happen, the market starts to lose steam. It starts to form, it starts to lose steam gradually, not instantaneously, but gradually, and it goes into what is known as a pennant or a wedge or a triangle formation. And you can take trades all the way until probably the end of toward the last 1/3 of the triangle, when the range gets too small, and that's when you probably have to just sit it out and wait. Okay, so I hope this video helps in helping you understand your trades a little bit better, how trades are won, how trades are lost, how the market supports you or works against you. And basically, when you have it good, don't let it get to your head too much. Likewise, when you're having it bad, don't let it get to your head too much as well. All right. Peace out. Good trading. This is Julian from the Binary Lab. I have links below that you can check out for broker recommendations, and for those of you who wish to join the broker community, the trading communities that I'm in, both forex and binary. Check out the description down below. Bye for now.